Alright, Shalom Israel. Just doing another video, and this is going to be a little different, a little quicker, if you will. As you see in the title, this is 50 Reasons Why God Hates America or the World. Not sure I'm going to title it yet, but essentially the whole purpose of this video is just to kind of go over just 50 quick, powerful, reasons why, God has created this coronavirus, because that is obviously the topic on everybody's mind. I mean, there really isn't much to talk about. You can't talk about sports. You can't talk about, the latest and greatest in movies and whatever, because right now the main topic is this virus. People are dying from it. I mean, from the, from the making of this video, today is, the April the 5th. So, it is well with past 1 million cases worldwide, around the earth. So, everyone's trying to figure out, why, what's going on. And you haven't really heard too many, Christians, prominent Christians like Creflo, or, I think Eddie Long, is he still alive? I'm not sure. Joel Osteen, you haven't really heard these prominent speakers, Farrakhan, really come out and be like, okay, this is what's going on, guys. And, in the media has always kind of joked about the whole rapture and the end of the world and all that stuff. But, no one took it seriously because, that's just, crazy, biblical, whatever. But it's coming to pass right now. And if, you guys are interested, I'm going to put a link in my description about the other video I made describing the end times, and that was, I did that, that video about a year ago, and it's basically kind of talking about what's going on right now. If you read Matthew 24, that goes into basically what's happening right now in the world, disease, pestilence, natural disasters, things of that nature. But anyway, that's not the purpose of this video. This video is to talk about, or just to bullet point 50 reasons why God hates America, or why he's creating this coronavirus, and destroying, America. Now, when I say America, I'm talking about the whole entire earth, because, and that's one of my points, my first point actually. But I'll just get into I'll just start, right now. So this is 50 reasons. So let us begin. All right. Reason number 1. I'm sorry. And before I start, I'm not really going to read any scriptures. I'm going to put the scripture up on the video. What I'm referring to. But like I said, I just kind of want to just go rapid fire. Explain a little bit. Just kind of add a little variety in the Israelite community, media community. I know if anyone's been watching us Israelites, different camps, you kind of see the same stuff. I just kind of want to add something a little different. So, but yeah, so I'm just going to rapid fire, and I will put up the scriptures as I go along. All right, so reason number 1. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So right now, the wicked, who is the wicked? Obviously it's America, right? Now, America doesn't just represent this land. It represents who's in power. You got the white man, Esau, right? And he is the wicked. The white man is the wicked on the earth. He has completely destroyed and polluted anything that's morally just, anything physically, as far as our nature. The economy's messed up because of him. And the thing is that, throughout time, every, I guess, major empire basically has not been, the Israelite empire. I mean, we did rule for a little bit, but the majority of the existence of time has been, Egyptians, Romans, Greeks, so right now is, basically, Esau's time to rule. And he's messing up. He's doing a horrible job. And even white people can, some white people can even agree, yeah, you know what, damn, man, I mean, I can't even disagree. Yeah, we're fucking up, you know what I mean? And this whole virus is, a great example of what's really going on. There's many different theories about where it came from or whatever, but the result is what's really going on is that God is pissed off. He is PO'd, he is ticked off, and he is showing his wrath. And that's why right now, the grace period is it's over, man. If you have if you're in 2020 and you're a black person, and you haven't figured out that, hey, with all this stuff out, that you haven't figured out at least that you're the chosen, and then and as a white person you haven't humbled down, and all these other nations, and be like, yeah, we're kind of messing up, let's try to make things a little bit right. I can respect a white person who at least knows their race is messed up, then we could do something. But for the people that are prideful, for the stuck-up people, for the people who are, living great in this society, who don't want to see the truth, it's over, man. It's over. And so the first point, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. I mean, it just is poetic justice. Justice is being served. Now, of course, there's going to be some crossfire, but in the end, the just will rule out on top. All right. So, reason number 2 why God created this coronavirus, why God hates America, is because usury. Our whole entire society is based off of putting people in debt. The only way that you can, the only way that this economy can survive is by, making people, taxing people on intangible things and increasing the rate of what you have to pay. I mean, just think about insurance, man. Just think about home insurance. You already got to pay for the insurance. Number one, you got to pay a monthly fee, but that's to ensure that they will help your asset if something was to go wrong with it. But it's so wicked, and like I said, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. So who came up with this idea of this insurance? The white man. Now, I'm pretty sure there's probably some historical gurus out there that can probably date it back to, ancient Mesopotamia. But I'm talking about today, man. What affects us today? And today, the fake Jews out there, create this whole economy. And when it comes to insurance, like I said, going back to home insurance, you have to pay a monthly fee. All right. So then after that, you gotta if you want to make a claim, first you gotta file a claim. You got a tree crashing down through the middle of your house, and you gotta take the time to say, hey, Allstate, I got a tree in my middle of the house. Can you help me out? Well, you're gonna be put on hold, and they gotta bring an inspector out to verify that, hey, yeah, what you're saying is true. Which, hey, you can't see this tree, or if my roof is leaking, hey, you can't see my roof leaking. Like, come on. And then from there, they're gonna try to wiggle their way out of it to be able to not even pay you. Right now, you've already paid these thousands of dollars over all these years. You've owned this house, and you have one incident, and you need them to help you out with it, and they don't want to pay nothing. And then, even if it does come out where they can pay you, then they're going to find the cheapest person possible who's going to do a crap job. All right. And then after all that, your rate increases. Like, it's your fault that a random house fire, or the shingles on your roof blew off, so they're going to tax you even more for it, man. It's wicked. That's usury, right? And I didn't mean to go into all that detail, but you just see just how compacted this is, the scheme is, and that's with everything in society, man. With taxes, with car insurance, with paying for school, with everything, man. It's just layers and layers of just bullshit. I mean, just to put it blunt. And again, the wicked Esau, the white man, has came up with this, man, and he's just ruthless, and that's why God hates this society, man. America, white man, Esau, it's all anonymous for the same exact thing. The wicked, man. The wicked. So that's point number 2. Point number 3, gleaming all the fruit. So there's a verse in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 10, which basically makes a metaphor of, you shouldn't take all the fruits. Basically you should be charitable. If you have excess of something, you should give it to a person. That's a law. That is a law in the Bible. And that's all to help out, your fellow Israelites. Now, of course, it's meant for the Israelites, but it can really be pertain to really any particular nation or race or group of people. You don't want to overabundance and keep it to yourself. You want to give. And, I know this society tries to praise itself on being philanthropist and, giving back, to society and whatnot. You have, these people that do these charity runs and make orphanages, but I mean they're only doing it because it's a good PR. Their public relations person says, hey, where this will look good if you built a shelter. I mean, you are kind of a billionaire, so why not just throw a couple of million to these starving African kids in Ethiopia or whatever. It'll make you look good, and of course they have no real knowledge of what their money is really going to. Haven't hammered a nail nowhere, you know what I'm saying? But it's just good PR. But the whole point of this is that, this is a selfish society that we live in. Going back to the point I made before with the ridiculous taxes, the usury that's put on everybody, that's why this place has to die, man. I mean, it's just how it is. I mean, I know a lot of people are sad, but I mean, it's the truth, man. Like the way that we live can't go on for longer. All the pollution, all the witchcraft, the trickery, the media, which I'll get into that later as I go through this list. But it's just horrible. So that's why God created this coronavirus. Sorry. Point number 4, vegetarianism and veganism. So, in this society, there's, I guess, this whole, idea or thought that, meat is bad, vegetables are, just a vegetable-only diet is better. Well, the Bible is all about eating meat, I mean, it talks metaphorically about meat, getting the meat, the sustenance and, literally, I mean, Jesus had fish. He fed a flock of people with fish. I mean, all of everything in the Old Testament about sacrificing, an animal. It was an animal, a meat, a goat. Granted, it was a law-abiding animal that you can eat, but it was meat nonetheless, right? And meat is not bad. We've gotten to this idea that meat's bad because of all the probiotics pumped in it. Well, nothing that we get in a grocery store is going to be 100% natural. That's including vegetables and fruits. Anyway, it all has pesticides on it. Even if you get the, the green, what do I like to call it? The organic, organic section of the store. It's not truly organic. You don't, you're not able to grow your own crops. You're not able to have your own lifestyle. You have to have a license for that. You can't just have a cow in the backyard, you know what I mean? Someone can call the cops on you, and there will be a whole, a case against you because you didn't get the license. Again, more usury, more payment you got to do to have a cow to graze in your backyard. So the point is that as far as vegetarians concerned, it's okay to eat meat. It's okay to eat the righteous meat. Now you can't go eat pork because that's against the Bible, but you can eat chicken. You can eat beef. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's no more healthier or unhealthier than vegetables. It's just we don't control how we get it. So point number 5, God hates Esau. So God, again, going back to point, kind of in conjunction with point 1, is that God hates the white man. I mean, it's obvious, man. I'm sorry, but it is obvious, man. This whole virus, because at first it was only affecting white people for a minute, a lot of black people are like, it don't affect us, we good. Now, of course, black people are getting affected too. That's a whole nother story. That's because, black people, we are, we're sinning against the law because we were given the law. Esau, the white man, he was not given the law. So he's pissed off, man. God's pissed off. Esau has done enough. And it's the time, man. This time, like I said, I would really like it if you guys looked at my End of the World video, or Great Tribulation End of the World video. And I posted the link, but he's showing just how his powers coming to fruition. So yeah. So point number 6, Esau chased Jacob with the sword. So in the Bible, it lists off the punishments of all the nations, that in the world, and more prominently Esau, the white man. He chases us with the sword, meaning he does violence against the children of Israel. Back then, in the biblical times, and now, right now, there's always about the black person getting shot by a white cop. You don't know how things really happen, but it always seems to happen like that. A black person gets killed. There was that whole Trayvon Martin phase. Remember that? Where it's like Michael Brown got shot and Trayvon Martin got shot and Sandra Bland. I mean, you don't really hear about too much nowadays, but it still happens, Now, of course, every situation is different. Some black people deserve to get shot. Sorry, yes, they are criminals. But the whole idea is that, racial profiled and not being able to go where you want and always having to look over your shoulder to, knowing that if you get pulled over by a cop, you could possibly be killed, not even for doing nothing, and that's Esau's nature. Genesis talks about how he's a cunning hunter. Esau loves his guns. Esau loves all that, Walking Dead, prepping, create a pitfall, Rambo type shit, that's his nature. He's a bloodthirsty beast. And that's why the white man is the wicked, He's full of violence. Alright, what's next? So the point number 7, Esau is prideful. He's prideful about his inventions, his accomplishments. The Bible prophesied how he would set his nest among the stars, when, we, or in America landed the shuttle on the moon, being prideful of that, hey, yeah, we could do it. You have all these, it's foreshadowing because you have these movies that have like this evil mad scientist, which is always a white guy. It's never a black guy. It wouldn't make sense. Like, no, there can't be, no superhero movie where the villain is a black dude. It just wouldn't make sense. Even if he was a villain, you'd be like, okay, I understand why, because I can relate. But when it's just a straight up evil white dude who just wants to take over the world, it's like, okay, yeah, that dude's evil. He's just one-dimensional, all about violence and killing, destruction. And Esau, he's proud of his invention. He's proud of, being able to say, I defied God. That's always a theme in these movies, to contest with God, to fight God. And, that's why these superhero movies exist, to go against the natural flow. So that's another reason why this coronavirus, because science can't explain what's really going on. At first it was affecting this part of the world, now it's affecting this part. It's only affecting like 60 plus years old, then it's affecting 15-year-olds, now it's infants, now it's, 29-year-old bodybuilders, it's black, it's white, it's Chinese, it's everyone's getting affected, and it's mutating now. It's on like a second stage, and and then there's other virus might come out of nowhere. It can't be explained. And for once, Esau is stumped. You know what I mean? So that's another reason why God created this coronavirus. Point number 8, whitewashing. So the whole entire Bible has been whitewashed. You look at all the different movies that have come out, all these children Bible books, it always depicts everyone as white, when the Egyptians definitely weren't white, but they have white Egyptians in these movies. You have the Israelites being white. You have Jesus being depicted as being white, which, that's a whole nother point I'm going to get to later on. But, he's tried to change history. He's tried to change the faces of the biblical characters, that of course is real history, but he's trying to change that, and you can't do that. You can't do that, white man. You know, if you would have came out telling it like it is, you know, glorifying the Bible in its perfection of who the people really are, then maybe this coronavirus wouldn't have happened. But you've been doing this for years, and you keep doing it, and you're prideful. Again, as the point I made before. So this is why we're going through what we're going through now. Okay. Point number 9, philosophy. So Esau, and really all other nations. It's not just Esau. You know, let me give you a little break, Esau. I know. I've been antagonizing you a little bit, but I'm gonna kind of pass the buck to these Asians and these Indians. You know, these Arabs. You know, philosophy. You know, all these ideas. You know, like just think of like MMA, you know, there's a whole, you know, philosophy of the chi and, you know, martial arts, and then you have, you know, science and philosophy, and, you know, you have language arts and its philosophies, you know, everything that's contrary to the Bible or has bitten off the Bible. Like, for instance, you know, Indians, you know, East Indians believe in reincarnation, when really that has been in the Bible, but it's really just regeneration. You know, coming back, but not as, you know, a whole other animal, but your spirit coming back into this earth, and, you know, inhabiting another body. That's in the Bible, but Indians took that idea and then twisted it and made their whole, oh, you come back as a rat, you know, like, that's stupid. But again, that's a philosophy. You know, even every religion is a philosophy. Like, Christianity of today is a philosophy. You know, just think about all the different branches of Christianity that, you know, Southern Baptist, Methodist, you know, non-denomination, Pentecostal, all these different philosophies. That's all they are. You know, a white man got hold of our book and just went wild with it. And again, that's another reason why the coronavirus exists. All right. So let's get off race a little bit. I know that whole spout of racial tension has flared up for the past 20 minutes. So let's go to point number 10, and the women. All right. So again, Esau, America, white man, promotes that women are above their husband in a lot of ways. You know, the Bible is all about the woman being below the man, the woman submitting to the man, and you know, the America, or, you know, the society and the media tries to make that seem like it's bad, but it's not. It's the way that it's supposed to be. Most creatures in nature know that, hey, the man, the male is the dominant, you know, so you follow his lead, and there's nothing wrong with that. And when you look at today's society, of course, you know, a woman is going to be puffed up because of, you know, the careers out there, maybe to make more money and whatnot. So it's a level playing field. But, you know, if things were done the way they should be, then it would be where the man only really has to work because you don't have all this debt you got to pay. The woman can stay home, you know, and take care of children. I mean, of course, she can still go out, go shopping. You know, she can still, you know, enjoy herself, but her main responsibility is holding down the household while the man goes out and, you know, hunts and gathers, you know, going to work. And that was fine. And for a minute, you know, back in the 20s or whatever, you know, it was like that. Of course, not for black people, but, you know, for the vast majority, it was like that. But just through corporate greed, you know, gas prices went up, prices of food went up, you know, outsourcing, you know, jobs everywhere, you know, just more usury, more tricks and witchcraft to make it where you have to struggle twice as hard to make half as much, you know. But anyway, that's getting off the point. The point is, the woman should always be up under the man, and the woman should know her place and know that, hey, my man is, you know, ahead of me. Point number 11, children should be obedient. You know, the Bible is all about, again, it's all about the structure. You know, it's, you know, God, then Jesus, or, you know, Yahweh. I know there's a lot of people that like to debate his name. You know, I'm going to just say Jesus just for the sake of the video, you know, for clarity. All right, so you got God, Jesus, the man, the woman, and then the children. So again, you know, the woman's main role is to take care of the children, And the children are supposed to be obedient, because if there's a happy household, then there's no strife, and they can learn from the parents of how things are supposed to be. But with this current media, these children are just off the chain, man. They're cursing at you, want to fight you, doing drugs, doing all sorts of craziness, man. And it shouldn't be like that. But there's none of these songs that these children listen to, these rap songs, these pop songs, Ariana Grande, they don't promote children being obedient and children listening to their parents. They promote being promiscuous, at age 8, just talking about things they shouldn't be talking about, man. Like, this is a very lewd society we live in. And I'll get into that's probably like 5 more points I just came up with, but the whole point for that point is children obey your parents. All right. Point number 12, the gay agenda. This homosexuality, LGBT, barbecue, CSI, KFC. This agenda is going hard, man. And homosexuality has always been, prevalent on the earth, but it's the white man who has really pushed it is okay to be gay, it is okay to be yourself, explore, and just be you, but it's not you, is against the law, man. It's just not natural. It is gross, 2 dudes, having sex, man, and it's horrible, man. It's disgusting. And America, again, when I say America, I'm talking about the society, Esau, white man, all that rolled into one. He has promoted that. Now, of course, Obama legalized it, but Obama was just a puppet. They specifically waited for a black, quotation marks, black president, so that way, they can say, well, a black person legalized it, so you can't blame white people. No, you white people have been pushing, women being ahead of their men, children being obedient, and homosexuality for years, and it's just finally bloomed into full blown. If you talk against homosexuality, your career is done, man. You get fired, you get shamed, you get fined, whatever. But a black man gets killed, for holding a stick of gum, and no one cares. It's horrible. And gay black men don't count as black people. They have completely sacrificed their soul and their butthole to lie with the white man, quite literally. All right. Point number 13. Homosexuality is why God created coronavirus, just to keep track of everything. All these points is why coronavirus exists, because you guys are gay. All right. So point number 13. The marriage license is not lawful. So marriage today, of course, we think of marriage, we think of, two, a man and a woman getting together and, loving each other and whatnot. But of course, in this society, marriage doesn't count unless you get this paper. Now, this paper, the white man's law, your marriage license says that you're officially married, but the Bible says that, you're married when you have sex. When you have sex, your soul and her soul, the man and woman's soul, they come together. Their spirit becomes one. Their flesh becomes one. There was marriage before there was a paper. Remember, in the Genesis, it talked about that. In the Garden of Eden, it talked, I think Genesis, either the first or the second chapter, that was one of the first laws that was created was marriage. That if a man lays with a woman, they become one. They're married. But in this society, you have to have this paper. You got to get wedding rings, which wedding rings is an Egyptian culture. That's not even a white man's culture. That getting a ring to be married is Egyptian. That's an Egyptian culture, which America is considered ancient Egypt, but we'll get into that later. But all these material things, having to have this super extravagant wedding, which, there are ceremonies, of course, in the Bible, like Samson, whatnot, David and his first wife. Yeah, there were ceremonies to to signify marriage, but that wasn't the point. The point, or the main thing, was that the sex was the marriage. The sex was that, hey, I have dedicated, I have, yeah, I've dedicated myself to lie down with this woman, and now I have to take care of this woman. But but even with the marriage license, no one's doing that. Divorce is at an all-time high, and there's this whole pressure to get this marriage license, which it doesn't mean marriage. And now the Bible does say that you can get it in writing, like you can get marriage in writing, but that's according to the law of Moses. And just think about the things that don't apply to the law of Moses when it comes to the marriage license. If you get married and if the man or the woman cheat on each other, then they can't get divorced, right? I mean, if you go down to the judge and say, hey, my wife cheated on me, I want a divorce, you can't divorce your wife because of that, all right? You need her signature and your signature to consummate the divorce. If you get divorced, she gets half of your stuff, which is not lawful according to the Bible. Okay, like the whole idea of marriage is not necessarily anything materialistic. Is the commitment you have for one another, and even it goes beyond sex. Like once the whole sex phase wears off, it's not about sex. It's about being accountable for each other. The woman being a woman and doing her duties to raise the children, and the man, being faithful and being able to hold her down and to be able to, lift her up and lift the nation up and create children and, so on and so forth. That's what marriage is about. But, in this society, everything's been twisted, man. Everything is based off of sex, materialism, and just stupid shit, all right? So that's another reason why the coronavirus exists, because the marriage is messed up, That was a long rant. Point number 14. 666. So the 666 is the white man. The number represents the evil on this earth, which is the white man. Now, of course, the white man being the most cunning serpent in the field, right? What was it? Is that the cunning? Yeah, something like that. He is a serpent in the Garden of Eden, right? Spiritually. So, of course, they've tried to create this whole entire lore of 666 means the devil, and the devil is a goat man in the middle of the earth with a pitchfork, and he's fighting God. Like that whole fictional story is all whitewashed, man. 666 represents the wickedness on this earth, man. Just think about the Illuminatis or the Freemasons, the governments, everyone that runs everything in the behind the scenes. That's what 666 mean. All right, 666 can be Trump, can be Clinton, it could be George Bush, it could be Kim Jong-un, it could be all the leaders around the earth. That's who 666. It's the wicked on the earth, man. It's the ones that run this crap. So that's what it is. It's not no, red goat man. That's a huge deception, and that's another reason why this coronavirus exists, to show who the 666 is. The Antichrist is a man, is people. All right, the wicked on this earth that runs this world. Okay. Point number 15. So, society or religion has tried to uplift Mary as she is a prophet. Mary, the mother of Jesus, which, she was important. Don't get me wrong, but she was just a woman that birthed Jesus through natural sex. That whole immaculate conception is immaculate deception. There's plenty of videos out there people, Israelites breaking it down, but Mary and Joseph, they had sex, okay, and then Mary had the baby, Jesus, and even in the Bible it talks about Jesus' lineage. He didn't just pop out of nowhere. Mary wasn't Mary was a virgin, but the word virgin is different from the word virgin that we think of today does not mean what it meant back then. The word virgin back then just meant a woman who's able to get married. So technically, in marriage, So technically Mary was a virgin because she was able to get married. She was of the age to get married, but she had already had sex. So, virgin has nothing to do with your sexual status. It just has to do with your age and if you're married or not. So, the point of that is that, the whole idea of Mary has been misconstrued, mostly by those Catholics, man. And if it's 2020, it's 2020, man. And if you're a Catholic, man, you're messed up. The coronavirus is for you. The coronavirus is for you Catholics. And that's why God gave it to that rat bastard over there, okay? Even if you're like just a regular white person, man, it's way better for you to be a Christian, be a Catholic, man. Like, there's no way, I don't see how there's a mass of people still worshiping Catholicism, man. Like, they rape little boys. Like, and people joke about it, but hey, you know what though? They're 666. Catholicism is 666. The fact that they can rape little boys, put their own spin on the Bible, and get away with it? Come on, man. I mean, a nigga in the parking lot can't even sell his mixtape. what makes you? Yeah. So, anyway, so that's why coronavirus is this, because of dirty Catholics. Point number 16, God hates music. So, God hates this music. He hates what we consider music today. All this, hip hop, rap, pop, all of it, it's all about glorifying, your own desires, sex, violence, drugs. It's not real music. Real music, in the Bible, of course there was music, in the Bible. There's David, known for playing the harp. There was other, when the Israelites were happy, they would sing a song or whatever about, overcoming adversity, overcoming their enemies, praising really the Lord because they could have been wiped out, not because, you didn't get your car repoed because, you call up Title Max, that's not what music is about. Music is about glorifying the Lord, and none of the music today, no matter what genre, doesn't glorify the Lord. I mean, I'll give it to like instrumentals and music without words. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? At least there's no like hidden agenda behind it. But when you have, Migos and, all the other crap, man, that's not real music, man. All right, Taylor Swift, none of that's real music, and that's why the Lord has got to destroy this place, man. Because number one, these musicians, they're going to be struggling because with this coronavirus, they can't do what they want to do, anymore. They can't just up and travel like that. They got to be tied down just like all the normal people. So, and I'm sure you guys see, how Twitter has been blowing up these, these celebrities. They try to do anything to stay in the limelight, like that whole thing with Drake and his baby, it being white, and he had it with a porn star. I doubt that's even his kid, He did that just to say, oh, by the way, I got a mixtape coming. That's how it always is, right? Some super surprising thing comes out about a musician, and then 2 days later, oh, by the way, I have a song coming out. It's the way it's cheap. It's a cheap trick, man, to get attention, and people, you fall for it all the time, man. So that's why the Lord's got to destroy these musicians. He's already started. Some of these rappers got it, man. I know Kenny Rogers, I think he was a musician. He died recently. The Lord's killing everybody, man. This is judgment, man, and it's beautiful. I love it. Point number 17. So us Israelites, we fled from Rome. And, that's our history. After Jesus was crucified, which Jesus was a black man, an Israelite, a Jew, right? Then us black people, as Israelites, we were persecuted, and we had to flee from Rome to Africa. Now, that whole history isn't really being told. That should be in our history books, like when we were in third grade that black people were chilling with Jesus Christ and we were being persecuted by white people, and then from there we had to run to Africa, which already had Africans, so therefore Africans and then black people are two different nations of people, and then the Africans took us into slavery and had the white people take us to the Americas. That's what the history should be. But it just says that we were in Africa and white people came and took us, man. So no, the reason why the Lord has sent this virus is because the history, man. Y'all have whitewashed your history and told your own spin on it, and He doesn't like that. All right. Point number 18. Everything is over sexualized. Just like I said before, the music, the movies, the video games. I mean, children know about sex before I knew about sex when I was young. You got kids, 5 years old trying to have sex. The clothes are over sexualized. Women, the dresses aren't real dresses. When white girls walking around with yoga pants, trying to compete with black girls with booty, there's booty wars, titties out everywhere, everything is over sexualized, man. And I mean that in itself is just and then of course you throw in the homosexuality aspect of it. It's just a mess, man. And this has been going on for years. Even white people are have been saying, okay, yeah, this media has messed up our children, so that's another point why this coronavirus exists. Point number 19, Esau got tricked for his birthright. So Jacob, Israelites, black people, we tricked Esau into giving us his birthright. Just goes to show you that he didn't care about it anyway. A lot of I know Christians who Christians who know more about the whole Hebrew Israelite, I guess, movement, so to speak, and know about us Israelites, they like to bring that point up that, well, you guys tricked Esau anyway. Well, Esau never cared about it in the first place, man. Esau was never a spiritual person, and if you really think about it, white people really just started getting spiritual, like, they weren't spiritual, that we think of now in the Roman times. They were worshiping multiple gods, a god for everything, a god for the sun, a god for the moon, a god for, harvest. They weren't into this Bible, into this book. During the Dark Ages, they weren't really like Christians, like, we see today, like, they've never really been spiritual. Us black people, the only thing we've been able to hold on to is our spirituality, the Bible. And Esau was never serious about it. It's just now, he's just now getting to it. All right. Which brings me to the next point number 20. Esau was a fornicator. So, Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16, that Esau was a fornicator. Now, when you think fornication, you think sexual, but this verse is referring to when he sold his birthright. So why he fornicated is because, again, he didn't think of it as anything important, so it was just a throwaway. So the Bible uses the word fornication as just not just sinning, doing the sin of something lewd, something disgusting. It was gross that he gave away his birthright, and the only way he had his birthright is just because of the fact that he was the firstborn son, but he didn't care enough for it, which just furthermore stamps that, hey, even when you had the ball in your court, you didn't take the shot. You didn't take it seriously. So from that beginning, it's been thousands of years guy has been waiting to brew this coronavirus. So, this whole thing, he's been stirring the pot, so to speak, and waiting for this thing to happen. Okay. Point number 21. Jesus born of immaculate conception. I talked about that earlier. That's a big, huge point that Christians love to get out. And it's wrong. And again, Christianity today represents the white person's agenda to change the Bible. there were Christians in the Bible, but Christians were supposed to be teaching that, Jesus died for his people, but they don't teach that. They teach that Jesus died, that he was God and Jesus, the Holy Trinity and all this other extra stuff. He's misinterpreting the Bible. Okay. 22, point 22, circumcision. So, there's been the whole debate about, should I get, your son, should they get circumcised and whatnot? And the short answer is no. I mean, the Lord did away with circumcision, through Jesus. Jesus, his whole point of coming was to get away, get rid of the physical things you had to do to say that you were pure, being circumcised, being baptized, and sacrificing something. Those were things that we had to do back in the Old Testament to say, hey, we're clear of our sins, but that didn't work. So Jesus was the last sacrifice, getting rid of all the those shallow physical things to say that you repent of your sins. Now the only repentance is doing the commandments, right? So that was the whole point of that. But some churches or some religions still preach that you have to be circumcised, which is not true. Because again, with the same thing with marriage, I can have this physical paper, but if I cheat on my wife, then what's the good of the paper, right? Are we still married? No. Biblically, if you cheat on your wife, you're divorced, right? Biblically, you're supposed to be killed, but obviously you can't do that nowadays. But you see the relation. So if I'm circumcised, does that mean I'm holy? I can still sin, right? I can be circumcised and still, cheat on my wife. So, but hey, I'm circumcised. So, and I know circumcision is supposed to be a symbol, but there's plenty of scriptures that pretty much bash circumcision, saying that it's no longer it's void. Point number 23, time. So the concept of time. So we have been lied to about time, and I have made a whole nother video series about that. I will put that link into the description. Please look at it. It's pretty lengthy. I go into the details of it. Please, I would really love everyone to see that video. It's definitely important to understand the time because of the times that we live in. Hey. The times that we live in, okay, it's important to know how time should have really been told, because, as this whole coronavirus thing continues, our concept of time is going to be changed. We're not going to have, the Microsoft clock at the bottom of the computer, or look at a watch, or, look at the time on my stove, or look at your phone, Technology is going to fail us. The Lord is going to destroy modern technology. So you have to be able to tell the time based off what time should really be told. So look at that video. I urge you to. Yeah. So, point number 25. Point number 24. I'm sorry. Sex is marriage. Again. Now I'm not saying God created the coronavirus because sex is marriage. I'm saying that our teaching of what sex really is has been distorted, and that's why the Lord has destroyed this place, so that you understand, that the righteous ones that really study this Bible, who really understand what sex is really about, will understand what the Bible is talking about. But, right now, sex is just about, being a stripper, having a lot of money, and sticking your thing in something, and that's it, and that's why the Lord has to destroy this place, to get rid of that mindset. Point number 25, you are your father. So, everyone kind of gets into like this whole, I'm like 5% Irish, 20% Nigerian, like all this crap. But the Bible says that, you are your father. You come from your father, and there is a reason for that, because the man is the only one that you get your inheritance from. You can't get inheritance from the woman, and we semi kind of try to go by that custom today by marriage, where the woman gets the man's last name. But even today, you can still keep your maiden name, right? You got women who got the height, the four names, right? Whatever the first name is, two middle names, which really is their old last name, then their man's last name, which is wicked. It proves that the woman really doesn't want to be controlled by the man. If a woman who is married wants to keep her last name, she does not love you, man. She should be proud to get rid of her last name. But again, marriage isn't about that paper anyway. But if you're going by that, that law of today, then she should get rid of her last name, because the man is the focal point of the Bible. The man is the most important part of the family, not the woman. And again, that's a whole nother reason. That's a whole nother vibration that this society puts out, that it's all about the woman. It's not all about the woman. It's all about the man. The man is the one who creates. He has the seed. Yes, the woman does hold the baby, but she just incubates the baby. Right? The man has the seed, the sperm, the genetic material to create the baby. Now I'm not saying the woman is not important, but the man is the focal point of the family. And the society does not teach that. The white man surely puts out that whole narrative that's all about the woman, especially in these movies, man. You see, of course everyone was mad about Star Wars and the Avengers, about the scene with all the women coming out. Well, there's truth to it, because the man, and he is the all-time hero. But more importantly, the Israelite man is the most important man on this planet, and the Lord is going to show the entire world that soon, because of this coronavirus. You know what I'm saying? If you're an Israelite man and you believe in this Bible, you are leads and steps ahead of anybody else on this planet, man. And the Lord is going to show that. That's why it's important to get into this Bible. Okay. 26, point 26, interracial marriage. So, of course, with the advent of, social media and all these, dating sites and, just all the media and all those, music videos and movies and whatnot, interracial marriage is at all-time high, So, it's not about staying with your people. It's about, oh, well, what if I was with this person from this, race or whatever, saying, forget, my race. And of course, this is mostly prevalent in the black community, Let's just call a spade a spade, The black man marries a white woman because the white woman is more submissive, typically speaking, but the only reason a white woman's with the black man is because the black man has got some money. If he's just an average black man working, average job, he ain't getting with no white woman unless they're both trailer trash. Conversely, if a white man gets with a black woman, then the only reason that happens is because the black woman wants a white man who has a lot of money, and then the white man wants to feel sorry for his ancestors for what they did, so he gets with a black woman. So to say, hey, well, at least I got with a black woman, it's all for it's vain love. There's no substance at all behind all of it. It's all materialism. It's all it's all fake. And the Lord is against interracial marriage. Everyone should be with their own kind. And he's going to show that real soon. Again, with this whole coronavirus, once this whole martial law starts popping out, the Bible says that, everyone will go to their people, once, all the glitz and glam and, money is not a factor no more, you're going to have to get with the people who look like you, It's just like jail. If you're a white boy, you ain't going to hang out with the black guys in jail. You're going to go to the white people, even if they're some racist Nazi crackers, man. You're going to chill with them because they're your people, and conversely, the black person not going to chill with the neo-Nazis. He's going to go with the black people, you know. It's just nature. It's how it is. And again, you know, society is against everything that's natural. Point number 27, fake Jews. So, you know, of course, today in the society, we had this idea that a Jew is, you know, the white guy with the hat and the long, scraggly beard and all that. That's not a Jew. That's a disgrace to humankind. All right. The real Jews are black people. All right. And again, the reason why this coronavirus exists is that the Lord is going to show just who the Jews really are. All right. We're going to come out. We're going to come out swinging. All right. Point number 28, idol worship. So this whole society, especially America, and I'm talking about America, is big, and Europe, you know, too. But really everywhere. It's all about idol worship. It's all about praising some inanimate object that doesn't talk, that doesn't speak, that doesn't do anything, or it's a person, you know, who's just a regular person, really, and people, you know, idolize them. They worship them. You know, celebrity worship. You know, people worship with weed. Right, you know, they like have a ritual when they're doing weed. Like weed heads, like they sketch the crap out. You know, if they don't get their weed because you know they're used to smoking their weed and you know doing this and that. I mean, anything can be idolized. You know, food can be idolization. You know, if you're just that addicted to food, you know, at those like 600-pound lives or whatever. So but this whole society is big on idol worship, so that way they can get your money, you know. So that's a whole nother reason why the Lord has to destroy this place. Point number 29, God creates evil. So, again, there's this whole idea that, you know, evil is the devil, a red man in the earth, and Jesus and God is fighting them, and you know, sending angels, and you even see like in this like in like video games and stuff, you know, and like comics and whatever. Like they'll have, they'll like have angels actually fighting demons. Well, the Lord creates all this. He creates demons, or He creates evil, and He creates good. You know. He creates angels to do His bidding, you know, whether it's good or evil. And the reason why He's doing this is He's showing his true nature, that hey, He can destroy anything like that if He wants to, you know. And this ain't no battle between God and the devil. This is all God. He's destroying this place, and He's doing it with the coronavirus. All right. Point number 30. People are over cocky. You know, we live in a society that's all about being flashy. I mean, you look at like Floyd Mayweather and Chad Ochocinco. Remember that guy? He legitimately changed his name to the number on his jersey, man. Like, is that not like the most implausible, you know, big-headed, you know, just over cockiness, man. And the Bible is all about being meek. Like when you read this Bible and really get into it, it's about being humble. You know, it's about, you know, preaching the word how it is, and you know, kind of have like a no holds barred, no remorse on who gets offended. It's just about preaching the word, but it's also about being humble. You know, and one thing that me personally, I believe some Israelites don't get is like, you know, it's a fine line to walk. You know, it's like, yeah, you got to be hard, and, you know, temperate and stern, but you also have to be compassionate and humble. You know, you have to be both at the same time. You know, and it can be a hard line to walk. You know, you don't want to be too soft, but you don't want to be too hard. You know, you want people to get the message, but you don't want them to misinterpret the message. You want to be clear. You know. And that can be a hard thing to do, but if you understand how to walk that line, you know, that'll help you, and really in everything, man. Like explaining yourself, you know, how to conduct business with people, you know, how to de-agitate situations, you know, how to get people on your side, you know, like, you know, a lot, like a good example was with Paul when he was in Agrippa, when he was being on trial. He couldn't just talk shit, to the judge because he would have been thrown away. But at the same time, he had to stand for where he stands. So he had to, he had to, give compliments, but he also had to, speak his mind. It's a hard line to walk in. Some Israelites don't quite get that. So, but regardless, you want to be humble, you want to be meek, you want to be nice, but be stern, strict, and be clear. Point number 30. Law not destroyed but fulfilled. So the law of the Lord was never destroyed. That's what Christians love to teach because they have a guilty conscience and they just think that they can get into the kingdom of heaven just by simply loving God and not doing nothing else. They can love the Lord all they want, but still be dope boys, still be strippers, still eat pork, okay, still shave their face, if they can grow a beard, doing things contrary to the law, still cheating on their wife, still have sex with boys, so that's what the Bible is about. It's about doing the law. And the reason why he brought this virus is that he's showing his wrath that for years, these churches have been promoting this lie that you can just, the law is not important. The law is done away with. The law is destroyed. You just have to believe in God. It's this like the biggest contradiction ever, right? Because we live in a society where you have to prove your worth. You have to prove your worth. If I want to go get a job at a bank, right, I have to go in there and I have to have a resume. I have to, dress a certain way, for the job. I have to, have the right credentials. I've had to go to school or have some type of practice in it. I can't just go in there and have no knowledge in banking and get a job. It's not going to happen. Now, I can really want that job. I can just believe in myself and just really say, hey, I know that I can do the best that I can, even though I have no experience at all being a banker. They're not going to hire me. All right? It's the same thing here. You can't get into the kingdom of heaven just simply believing. You have to do some work. And the work, is doing the law, And there's a lot of laws to do, to abide yourself by. But it's that the law is what's going to set you aside from everyone else who's not doing it, right? So point number 32, the meaning of the word giant. So another big lie that Christians or Catholics or whomever got our book and distorted it, try to promote is that the idea that angel or giants are fallen angels and the Nephilim and all that stuff. But the giants simply, there is the physical someone that's tall, a giant, yes, that did exist, but when it refers to giants in that part in Genesis, it's talking about leaders of kingdoms, a giant, the big dog, the big shot, the emperor, the guy who Alexander the Great and Vlad the Impaler and all those other historical, Caesar, that rule for that at that time. Those are giants, but they again, Catholics or whomever try to spin this whole idea that angels had sex with men or with the women and on earth, and that's how giants came to be. So, all that mythology has to be destroyed away, man. Point number 33. Black people knew all the studies of the earth. So, again, in academia and just in society alone, this whole idea that, black people aren't as smart as white people or any other race, really. And, you really see with, Asians and, Arabs, they were really arrogant, thinking that black people are just stupid, man. I've had some run-ins with, for some reason, those mall kiosk dudes, they think black people are just idiots, but they're used to dealing with I guess dope boys or whatever. But The point is that, we knew all the studies of the earth. As Israelites, there's nothing new under the sun. We came up with everything, man. We knew astrology, geography, psychology, biology. We studied animals, all of the stuff that we think is profound knowledge. We knew ahead of time, and we're going to be risen up with this Bible because only we can have the knowledge. That's part of our gift, is that no other people on this earth can really decipher this Bible. People, white Christian pastors are still baffled about Revelations. Oh, I don't want to read Revelations. This is a mystery. It's not a mystery when you really have the mindset of an Israelite. You see it clear that, hey, God's bringing destruction, and Jesus is a black man, which is another point I have, which I'll get to later. So that's a whole nother reason why God has to destroy this place. Point 34, heaven. So the whole concept of heaven is completely destroyed. And like when I became an Israelite, when I found out what this Bible is about, of course naturally I was like, well, what is heaven? Because we have this idea that heaven is flying around on pigeon wings with a yellow toga on, or white toga, and God just in a big golden chair, like you see in all our cartoons, like South Park and Family Guy, where they parody God in heaven. Well, heaven is clearly described in Revelation 21. It talks about heaven, that heaven is on earth. Fallacy number one. Right? We're not going to be flying around on no clouds. Heaven is on earth. It even says New Jerusalem. So the land over there, that physical land, Jerusalem, will be rebuilt, right, on earth, and there will be actual, walls and gates, and and so then with that and then the houses and palaces, and that's going to be heaven. It's going to be, something like from a Disney, movie, like, just think about like some like Aladdin type stuff, but on a grander scale, like just immaculate, awe-inspiring, atmosphere, man. So, but, again, the whole reason why the Lord is destroying this place, because of that deception of what heaven's really about. 35, so genealogy, and like that whole 23andMe phase. So, years ago they came out with these test kits to find out what who your ancestors are, Ancestry.com. And of course, black women, flock to that thing. They love to, and really women in general, because, of course, everything in society is geared toward pleasing women, which is, again, is why the Lord is destroying this place, man. Everything should be geared toward the man. But, to get a cheap buck, they play on women's imaginations and fears and, all that. And, all that genealogy test kit stuff is a prime example, None of that is real, okay? It's all fake. They even came out and said they only really did it just to get free information to give to the government. They test how they get your supposed genealogies. They take the woman's chromosomes, which we just stated that you get your nationality from your father. Who you are, who your father is. So whoever your father is, that's who you are. Your mom has nothing to do with your inheritance or your nationality. Of course, black women love getting into these half babies. Oh, he's half black, but he's half white. He's so cute. Well, who's his father? He's black. Well, he's a black boy. All right. It's more witchcraft, man. And that really is witchcraft. Like, when you think about it, witchcraft is the ability to change your perception of what you actually see, man. It's magic, right? You look at, just think about the simple cup trick, right? The magician puts the ball under one of three cups. He switches it around. Now from what you see, the cup was under the middle, or the ball was under the middle cup, right? He switched it around, and then somehow the ball is under the left cup. Well, that's witchcraft, right? I mean, logically, you just saw the ball under the middle cup, but he did all this trickery and all this smoke and mirrors so that the ball can end up in another cup. And that's essentially what everything in the society is about, man. All the music, the drugs, the media, the movies, the video games, sports, everything is just a big illusion, man. That's all it is. But more so going into the whole genealogy, the Lord has destroyed this place and he's slowly doing it so that way this whole 23andMe, if y'all took it, if you were 15% German and you're a black person, well, that 15% is not going to matter in these end times. You're going to go to the black people, all right? That's who you're going to be with. That's who you're going to feel most comfortable with. You're going to feel safety in the ghetto, all right? Not with no redneck white people who got high-powered caliber rifles and willing to kill you on sight, all right? Point 36. The Bible talks about, sealing the elect of his people, the 1/3 and the 144, where, some of the elect have already been sealed. The Bible talks about, the 7 seals, and it said that the 5th seal already has, names written into it. So the whole point, or my whole point of bringing that out is to say that, there's this idea that, grace is forever, that anyone really has a chance, but really there's limited spots because, there's already been sealed people from the past, from, thousands of years ago, 2,000 years ago, from 10 years ago, from 2 years ago, people, or Israelites, I should say, Israelites are getting sealed all the time, and, time is running out. And this coronavirus, society is not going to be the same after this at all, man. So it's time to get right. So point number 37, queen worship, women worship. This American society, especially America, is huge on, all black women are queens, and you're descendant of a goddess and goddess braids and all that stuff. Women worship. Strippers. Like, I remember when being a stripper was a disgrace. What was a quote people like to say? My mom. A father's main job is to make sure his daughter doesn't even end up on a stripper pole. Well, these strippers are making more than college professors. With a degree, with a master's degree. And it's seen as a good thing. Like, these women are being lifted up for doing lewd, filthy things, and they're being naked for a bunch of random men, and that's looked at as a good thing. That's witchcraft again. Just think about that analogy. You got a ball under a cup. It's under the middle cup. It's under the middle cup. You just saw it, but somehow it ends up in the left cup. Same thing here. Stripping is bad. Showing your body to random people for money is bad. Getting naked for random people is bad. Having sex for random people is bad. Doing drugs with random people is bad. Murdering somebody is bad. The list goes on, but somehow in this society, it glorifies anything and everything that's horrible under the sun. And women worship is bad because there is no goddesses. There's only gods. There's only men who are in charge, and that's how you run a kingdom. Even like in ancient times of all the other civilizations, all the other nations, right? Rome, Greece, Egypt, Mesopotamia, all ran by men, right? So men should be worshipped, not women, right? If a woman is worshipped, what good comes out of that? Nothing at all. Just again, look at the strip club scenario. Look at when men salivate over a woman and all hell breaks loose, man. Someone's willing to kill somebody over a woman, man. It's witchcraft, okay? And that's why the Lord has destroyed this place. Because in this day and age, in this time that we're about to enter in, a man is going to be precious. All right? A righteous man who knows his book that you can trust on, that's not going to rape you or steal from you or murder you, is going to be more precious than gold. And that's in the Bible. All right? Point 38. A lot of people rely on their oppressors, rely on America. You know, here in this society, you know, a lot of people, Israelites, I should say. A lot of Israelites don't want to. They're happy being slaves, but getting benefits than wanting to be free. And what I mean by that is, you slave and slave all day, and you have barely enough to make money to support yourself or do anything. But every now and then, you get a break, or get some type of program from the white man, Esau, the oppressor, America, that he helps your life just a little bit better, right? Like, you gotta file taxes, but you get a tax return. Well, black people look at that as, the creme de la creme, instead of, hey, I don't want to be paying taxes at all. I want to be a king on this earth, Basically, being happy with your oppression. We did the same thing in Egypt and Exodus. We were happy being slaves. At least we got to eat, a sandwich once a day. It's that type of mentality, not wanting to free yourself from your oppression, but being content, with the crap that they give you. And the Lord's going to show you, all these favors your oppressor gives you is going to run out, man. Like the stimulus check, Trump is supposedly going to give. Of course, I'm gonna take it, but but if I had the choice of taking, $600 a week or salvation, I want salvation, man. That's the bigger picture, not this momentary money that's not even real. That means nothing at all. All right. So that's that point. So point number 39. The young can teach the old. So there's this whole entire idea that all these older baby boomer generations have all this wisdom and knowledge, but they're the one of the first ones who will go against truly what this Bible is. You try to tell an old black woman that black people are the chosen people of God, and that Jesus is black, and that the Lord is going to come down with wrath and destruction, and Jesus and commands the devil to do his word. She's going to scoff at you and be like, that's not what my preacher told me. That's not my Jesus. I was taught by this and that, and just come with a whole bunch of pride and crap. But it just shows you that in days past, we've been mind controlled. We've had our brainwashed and to think that our oppressor is our go-to person. And when you really think about it, it hasn't even really been 100 years since haven't been oppressed, right? Like, I'm 30, right? And let's just do some math, okay? Let me put that in perspective for you, okay? It's 2020 right now, right? Okay. So I'm 30, okay? So that means 30 years ago, it was what? 1990, right? 20, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So 1990, I was born or whatever, and it was the 90s. All right, cool. So let's subtract 10 years from that, right? So that would be 1980s, which would be 40 years. Okay, that was a relatively okay time. Now let's subtract 10 more years from that. So that would be 50. Now we're getting to the 1970s. That's when the whole, Make America Great Again comes into play, because it was great for white people, but it wasn't great for black people, right? We were being discriminated against, being called nigger, being lynched, still hung, around, not really so much the 70s, but more so the 60s. So just subtract another 10. So now we're in 1960. So that's about 50 years ago. My grandparents were in fear of their life, or my parents, really, yeah, my parents. So 50 years ago, my parents were in fear of, being a nigger and being and not coming home that night because a group of racist white boys took them up, beat them, and then and then just add 50 more years to that, and that's where your grandparents come into play, and they really got the blunt of it, right? That's when it was really about Rosa Parks and Emmett Till type stuff, okay? And so then you just add in like another 100 years, and now we're back in slavery. So like our great grandparents had to deal with it, just came off the plantation. So that's what, one generation, two generation, three, four. So 5 generations ago, we were full blown slaves, man. Our great great grandparents are like fully picking cotton, getting whipped. You know what I'm saying? Getting raped by the slave master. Just think about that. But the point is that I don't know what how did I get how did I get on that point? Yeah, the young teach the old. So old people are stuck in their ways because the oppressor brainwashed them, And the further back you go, the harder it is to get an old person to decide. That's why the young have to be able to, is the strength of Israel, the strength of us Israelites. Being able to not take what we see, in front of us by, and to decipher what the crap, the bull crap, all right? That's the point I want to make with that. And that's why the Lord has to get rid of the, most of the people, because there's a lot of old people. Again, he was killing off old people first, the coronavirus, so just think about, if he's killing off old people and young people, he's killing off young people who have the same mindset of an old person, who won't see what this Bible's about, That's what's going to protect you, man. Not no face mask, not no gloves, but this knowledge of the Bible, man. Okay, that's why it's important. You don't want to have the spirit of an old person who doesn't want the truth, who won't understand, who's brainwashed into the old way. You can't take what you see in front of you for face value. All right. Point number 20 or 40. Don't exalt yourself. Again, that kind of goes into how the society is about always about me, not being humble, not being compassionate about other people, man. And that's a huge thing. Really amongst our society, really amongst black people, man. We are not compassionate of each other at all, man. Like, just from, you could be at work and, you could have a job where you service black people or, just anybody, the general public, and, you get a black customer and they treat you like crap. Knowing damn well if the shoe was on the other foot, they would want, you to treat them great. Knowing that you're both black, you're both in the same situation, you're both in the hood, you're both in the ghetto, you both have similar backstories, but they treat you horrible, man. Like, and I'm gonna be honest, white people, have a better conscience than black people toward black people, man. Like, they'll be nice, courteous, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what it is about that Stockholm syndrome, man. That's a huge thing amongst our people. Like, we love massa, but we hate ourselves. Like, you think in 2020 we would get that, man. That's why I don't buy this whole pro-black thing, that whole Black Lives Matter, man. Because once the camera's off and the rally's done, the same niggas that you're holding hands with are the same ones who stab you in the back. You know what I'm saying? Who won't even tip you $5, man, if you went to Papa Do's or something like that. The same people that would steal from you, man. And, that just goes, again, back to the original point about, exalting yourself, not having no care for your brother, man. That's what the Bible is mainly about, too. It's about caring for your own people, caring for the person next to you in the same conditions you are, And that's why the Lord has to destroy this place, the coronavirus. Let's say, just put this in perspective, everybody. At first, the coronavirus was killing white people. Now it's killing black people, all right? Now, is it killing all black people? No, it's killing wicked black people, all right? It's killing black people. Now, of course, I don't know every single scenario and situation or every person that died, but I can just say that, hey, man, if it was a black person, he was probably wicked, all right? she was probably wicked. Okay, she probably wasn't thinking about their fellow black people the same way they want to be treated, and that's why they gotta get rid of them, man. Gentiles alike. Okay. Um, point number 41. Baptism. Again, this society likes to portray that baptism will save you. Dumping your head in water. There's a whole Bible scriptures talking about how baptism meant nothing. Jesus was the last one to be baptized by John the Baptist. That's what's called that. And John the Baptist, the reason he baptized is he thought that the physical dumping someone in water would work, but that did nothing because people still sin. You still dump little JJ from the hood into the water. He's baptized, but he's going to the strip club in a few more hours. Ain't changed nothing. He's still smoking weed. So that's why baptism never meant anything. It was originally meant to symbolize. Now, it wasn't really meant to verify that you were saved. It just meant to symbolize that, hey, you're washing away your sins. But what's the point of doing it if you're just going to sin? So there's that breakdown. Point 42. Don't withhold sex. So another kind of narrative that America really likes to portray this whole sexual tension battle that the man has to earn his right to have sex with his woman. And I understand if you can't have sex because of medical reasons or you're just tired or whatever, but this idea that I'm gonna withhold sex from you because you didn't take out the trash or you didn't do this, you're defrauding your significant other, and that's a sin. That's wicked. You're not supposed to withhold sex from someone for something petty, And whole movies are made from this, Just think about all those dumbass American Pie movies, like those coming of age, the boy's trying to he's on a quest to get laid type shit, super bad, all that stuff, all that silly white boy stuff, man. That's really the white boys narrative, and that goes into women worship, BDSM, all these lewd sexual acts, man. Just being a simp, just being a low tier, no backbone having, soy boy, and that goes into this whole idea that sex is a weapon, man, and that's dangerous, and there's and the Israelites understood that sex with a woman, it can be good, but it's power, and if you're playing around with that type of power, it can be costly. So that's why they weren't about sleeping around with everybody and using your body as a tool for your own desires, or pettiness, man. Sex is the whole idea of sex has been misconstrued, by society, and that's why the Lord is getting rid of this place, man. With this coronavirus, when it really hits and martial law comes in and you hear rifles every break of dawn and you got limited food, you're gonna be thinking about sex. You're not gonna be thinking about trying to score, going on Tinder, you're gonna be thinking about survival, man. And it's all because of this wicked place has messed up what sex really means. Okay. Point number 43. I mean, I have written here, God being a dick. I mean, God can just be an asshole just to do it, man. I mean, there's now there's definitely a reason for this coronavirus, as I'm listing, but sometimes someone can just get taken away just because he wants to, and he'll do it in the most, messed up way possible, man. Just think about how Usher, how his son drowned at a lake, that was a pretty big thing at a point, one of his sons drowned. Now, of course, people are like, well, what's the meaning of this? How can this happen? It's the devil? No, it was God did that. And why did he do it? Hey, sometimes he just kills people off, But it's a reason that we don't understand. But to us, it may seem cruel. But you know, he'll do stuff in twisted, sick ways, man. Just being blunt and honest. And it's the Lord laughing at you, man. It's if you ended up, if like, just think about like the movie series Final Destination, how like, remember the first Final Destination, the highway scene. Just imagine if you ended up dying from that, like a log fell off of a truck and smashed right through your windshield, man. Like, that's just the Lord being like, you know what? Okay, I gave you plenty of chances to stop eating pork. You didn't do it, so I'm gonna make your death a scene to be looked at. It's gonna be something that just doesn't happen. A law's gonna come flying through your windshield. That's just how the Lord is. But the point is that as you hear about this coronavirus, man, there's gonna be some weird stuff going on. There's gonna be some unexplained deaths, or it's gonna be explained, but it's just gonna be crazy, man. Man, has a 25-year-old man has a stroke while driving down the highway, flies off a brick road and crash lands into a milk farm. Just something out of this ordinary, but that's the Lord just saying, you know what, I'm gonna screw you up something bad, okay? So that's why it's important to do good by this word, man. Point number 44. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Again, a lot of deception in this, in witchcraft in the society is, not letting what you say, going by your word. I mean, a handshake means nothing. Your word means nothing. Like if I work in a industry where I count on tips. And if someone says they're going to tip you, you're like, okay, well, you said you do it, I guess you'll do it. And then they don't do it, and I'm disappointed, right? It's one thing if you say nothing at all because I'm not expecting anything, but if you say you're going to do it and you don't do it, then that's wrong. And that's why and that's a lot of that, man, especially among black people, man. Now I understand, like, conditions change, of course every situation is different, but you just gotta think, man, like, if you want to be headstrong and be believable, your yes has to be yes and your no has to be no, man. Don't beat around the bush. Don't use semantics. That's what white people love to do, man. That's what the whole justice system of today is built off of. It's built off of semantics and wordplay. Like, just think about the O.J. Simpson trial. Is he guilty? Of course he is. No doubt about it. Yes, he murdered his wife. They even found matching DNA blood samples. But because of different wordplay and that, the glove doesn't fit, it must acquit. What the hell does that mean? What's that got to do with anything? He murdered somebody. Who cares about a glove? But in this society, what you say, like when you really see how this whole judicial thing is really broken down into, it's about proving if you're guilty or not, but your words that you say, it's built off of words. It's not built off of discernment. It's not built off of, can I actually judge the character of this person and did they really do it? It's built off of, as long as you can say the right words and kind of go around the subject, then you're okay. Just a good example, if it's just like Alex Jones. Some people may not know who he's like a big conspiracy theorist. I remember he was interviewed about the whole Sandy Hook. Like, he came up with a hoax about, or with a theory that the Sandy Hook shooting was a hoax, and he was interviewed by the Megan something, some famous white reporter, whatever. And he danced around the questions. He uses wordplay and his semantics to not answer the questions. He wasn't up front. You know how black people say, keep it real, man. That's slang for, man, be up front with me, man. Don't beat around the bush. Tell me yes or no, or be real with me. Like no one's got time for bullshit. So, but this society is built off of trickery, and that's why the Lord is destroying it. Okay. um, Point 45. Depiction of Jesus. All right. Jesus is a black man. The Bible depicts him clearly in Revelation chapter 1. It talks about his hair being of wool, his skin being burnt like brass, all that. Now you could clearly read this to a Christian, black or white, and they'll say all types of things, come up with all types of excuses why uh, that doesn't mean Jesus is black. They can't say he's white now. 2020 we've come a long way to say yes, Jesus is not a white man, but they'll say he's of olive complexion, which olive is either green or black. So they don't, they're trying to say he's Arab, which they're basically saying he's a Muslim. So when a Christian says he's not black but he's an olive complexion or he's a Middle Eastern, then they're saying he's a Muslim, and Christians hate Muslims, so they contradicted themselves. But the point of the story, point of the point is that Jesus depicted in the Bible is wrong, and the Lord's furious, and the Lord's depicted, having woolly hair as the purest wool, like in Daniel chapter 7 verse 9, I believe. That he had pure wool. So the fact that our history has been whitewashed is why the Lord is destroying this place, with the virus. Point 46: sports are bad. So now let me be clear. The idea behind sports is that two people or two groups come together and they compete for points and all that stuff and rigorous physical encounters, and the Lord's against that. Number one is because it incites violence, and the Lord's not about fake violence. The Lord understands that if two men are full of testosterone and blood, and they're going at each other, someone can die. Like the whole ferocity of fighting and combat is meant for the battlefield. That's why MMA is fake. Because there's rules, there's a ref, you're inside of a cage, you can't pick up items, you can't kick them in the balls, you can't hit them with the elbows. Like you can't try to minimize the natural instinct to want to stay alive to fight, man. And it's just silly. So like we have football and basketball and just any sport, man. Like you're competing to damn near kill each other, and people do die in sports, all the time. People die in. I remember I read an article that someone died in soccer. Like, there's two guys running. One guy slid to like get the ball. The other guy ran toward him. His knee, just impacted his skull, and he like died on the spot. Like he got, Shining Wizard and like some WWE type stuff. And, in WWE itself, I mean, that's violent, People can die. And now, of course, as a man, of course I love the natural competitiveness of, two men or two teams fighting or whatever. But in essence, it's wrong, Sports can lead to injury, can lead to death, all right? It's nothing to play with. So, and the Lord, does not approve of, sports, on the big term, right? Like, profession. Now the Lord does want you to exercise. It is good exercise. So, if you're playing, pick a game of basketball, that's cool, right? You're exercising, whatever. You're at the gym, you're exercising, that's cool. The Lord wants you to be healthy, But when that becomes your profession, and when, you're basically a 24-hour soldier, doing fake wars, and you see all the controversy that comes with sports. But of course, in this society, that's a big driving force in the economy is sports. Then people make a huge buck off of these men and women sacrificing their lives, and that in itself is, wickedness. So it's just extortion, and in the most wrong way possible, because someone can end up dying. All right. And that's why that's why this coronavirus came, because all sports have been kind of canceled. I mean, NFL, they're trying to hang on. They're still doing drafts. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Y'all aren't going to have no season. Are you serious? Like, get with everyone else. NBA, MLB, all of them have stopped their season, man. So he's single-handedly killing off all the unnecessities of this world, man. I love it. Point number 47. So the curse was a punishment of the law. So this is a little more advanced, if you're not really keen to like what the the community between like the Israelites and Christian community. So anyway, Christians, they like to use Galatians to say that the law is done away with. Galatians 3, prominently 3 in Galatians chapter 3 verse 10. But what Galatians is talking about is that the curse of the law was the curse that you had to sacrifice. It's not saying that the law itself is a curse. Christians like to say that, try to justify not being able to follow the laws of the Bible by saying that Galatians is saying that the law, to go by the law, is a curse in itself. When it's not saying that, it's saying that it even says it in the like, go read it, like Galatians 3, start with 3 verse 10. It talks about how you still have to abide by the law, but the curse of the law was a sacrifice. Now, you have to know about the law. You have to know that, hey, when something happened, something had to be sacrificed, like a lamb or ox or whatever. That was the curse. But that curse has been lifted. But you still have to abide by the law. But again, Christians, try to say that you don't have to follow the laws at all. You just have to believe in God with all your heart and all your mind, and love your neighbor, But is deeper than that, So that's why the Lord has destroyed this place again, to show y'all that the laws is going to be the only thing that's going to keep you alive, man. All right, so point 48. We're getting close, guys. The rich die because they hate the law. So, in this society, when you typically think of someone who's made it, whether they're a celebrity, an athlete, they're a high-paying lawyer, whatever, they're not really going to abide by the Bible, because you can't have your cake and eat it too. It's hard. It's a hard argument to make, to say that you're among the you believe in the Bible, which the Bible is about the majority of stuff that people do on this earth, but to make it on the high echelon in this society, that you still abide by the law. Like for example, it's a hard argument to say you believe in God, but you're a rapper. I mean, that's a classic case. Right? All these rappers, what do? They get a necklace with a cross on it. They get the cross tattoo, or the Jesus hands, tattoo on their arm, and say they believe in God. And then when they win an Oscar or the BET award, they say, I believe in God, man. Everything's possible through Him, and of course they'll have a verse talking about God. God don't make no mistakes. I'm in this thing. Thugs, say they pray to God when they about to go kill someone and take their money. Like, no, you can't have it both ways, man. You can't be into the society but also be about the Bible. Is what I'm trying to say. You can't be about studying the law, statutes, and commandments, but you're also into and assimilate with the ideas and the moralities and the philosophies of this world. And that even goes into more accredited professions, like a lawyer, right? If you're a lawyer, okay, you're not breaking the law, but you're studying the law of this land. You don't have time if you're trying to, become a lawyer and pass your bar exam, you're not going to be studying the Bible as in depth as you should. You're just going to do like, okay, yeah, I read a few things here and there. David killed Goliath. Jesus was born through immaculate conception, and God loves everybody. Bam, I'm done. Now let me go study this for the next 2 months. Like, no, man. Like, you can't do both. Like, it's either you're in it all the way in the world, or you in it all the way with the Bible, man. And this virus is gonna single out who is down for who, and the majority of the earth is going to get wiped out, man. I mean, this place is wicked, and it's not about the Bible, These Christians are going to get wiped out. These atheists, I mean, Muslims. I mean, it's about the word, man, and he's about to prove it. He's proving it right now. Chapter 49, or chapter 4, point 49. Satan gives blessings. So, a huge big conception in the Christianity community is that, this whole prosperity doctrine that, if you, do a little good here, then you'll get your blessings, right? If you give a little bit of money to charity or your tithes, right, then, the Lord will help you to get that $80,000 job you want, or He'll help you get that, $250,000 house you want, When in reality, Satan, now you could get that, right? Like, you could be giving your tithes, doing the most minimum amount you can in the church to show that you love Jesus. Of course, you don't go by the commandments. Of course, you still eat pork. Of course, you still celebrate Christmas. Celebrate the pagan holidays. Okay, but you worked hard. You passed school. You got your degree. You got a great job. You make $80,000, $60,000 a year. You're able to move out the hood. You're able to get a house. For $250,000. You got a BMW. You met the love of your life. You're doing great. So you're doing good for yourself. That's a typical Negro term. As black people, you done did good for yourself. 5-star chick type shit. Well, all that is really a curse. Because the Satan, he gave you what you wanted, right? It's just like the story in what is it? Matthew chapter 4, when Satan tried to tempt Jesus, right? He showed him that he could have all the riches in this world, man. He could be a wealthy empire, all that stuff, man. All he had to do was, pledge his allegiance to Satan, man. And that's what a lot of y'all people do, man. You pledge your allegiance with Satan. And God sent Satan to do that. Remember, there's no, Satan versus God type of deal. Is, Satan tells God what to do. So God, whispered in your ear. He said, you a bad, independent black woman. You a bad brother. You graduated from, Morehouse College. You got out the hood. You're trapped a little bit on the side just to pay for books. You had sex with so and so, you got the baddest bitches, you're driving in a nigger Dodge Charger, nigger car, a typical Negro car, so you done made it, man, but that's really all blessings from Satan, and the whole purpose of that is to distract you. Forgetting this word, again with the point I made earlier, if you're in a high echelon in society, man, you're not going to listen to this Bible. Now, and I'm saying that for everybody. Of course, there's some people that snap out of it and they do come to and be like, "Hey, man, all this what I have is garbage. I really need to get into this Bible and become an Israelite." That's fine, but the majority of people don't do that, and they're gonna look to their vices and their materialism to justify their faith, to say, hey, I mean, I did it, I got this house because I'm blessed, right? Black people love that hashtag blessed. You said it everywhere on Facebook. You got the most grimiest Negroes talking about they're blessed, you know what I'm saying? Like, give me a break. But regardless, man, the Lord's going to show you just how unblessed you are. this coronavirus, man, could take everything away, man. Like I said, this is the beginning of the end times, man. I mean, it's already begun before, but it's ramping up, man. God is showing His power, and if you're not on board, you're gonna get swept away. And point 50, the Holy Trinity. You know, Christians love to preach this idea that there's this Holy Trinity, that God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit are one and the same. When the Holy Spirit is really just the law, okay? Jesus represents the law because He came to teach the law, and Jesus was sent by God, His Father, right? Now, that's the, proper tier, but Christians like to say they're one and the same, that, Jesus is God while also talking to Himself as God. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, there's plenty of scriptures where, it says Jesus, the Son of God, right? So how can Jesus? Even when I was a Christian, even when I was a kid, I never understood. I was like, how can Jesus be God when it says that God begot His Son Jesus? So is He like in Himself while sending Himself out? Like, it makes no sense, man. It's stupid. And that's a huge deception that Christians like to use. And it's stupid. So I really have 3 more points I like to bring out past 50. Just give you a little bonus round. I go right quick. So another point that my God is bringing this coronavirus is, you see this fake spirituality, everywhere, on Facebook, everyone's talking about their spiritual, especially black people, black people are now starting to get woke, right? Now they're starting to get spiritual, and of course, spirituality that black person means, believing in witchcraft and, what's your astrological sign? Oh, I'm a Taurus and you're a Leo. We are spirits combined. All that bullshit. And then, they go get, gemstones that try to represent some crap. None of that is spiritual. The Bible says that the only thing that makes you spiritual is the commandments. If you're not going by the commandments, you're not spiritual. All that hashtag good vibes. There ain't no good vibes with a Facebook philosopher, man. It's all fake. Another point. Speaking in tongues, Christians like to say this, or they like to spout random gibberish out of their mouth to say they're speaking in tongues when speaking in tongues has nothing to do with that. Speaking in tongues really is a bad thing. Basically, speaking in tongues means that I don't understand you, right? I mean, like, I can be teaching you the word, but if you don't understand what I'm saying, both from a language perspective and both from a philosophical perspective, not speaking in tongues. Like, I could be speaking all this to you right now, but, if you don't speak English, then technically I'm speaking in tongues because you don't understand me. I am speaking the word. Like, this whole video, I'm teaching the word, showing examples, but if you don't understand, if you speak another language, then I'm speaking in tongues. Conversely, if I'm, if you're not being taught anything valuable, right? Like your Sunday preachers, if you just go to church for 5 hours and you just hear the same "Jesus loves you," this I know for the Bible tells me so. Then the preacher is speaking in tongues. There's nothing to gain from the teaching, so he might as well be speaking another language. So that's speaking in tongues. Like, so that whole shabala, that's all dumb, man. Even as a kid, I never was like, what the hell? I remember there was a point, like, in my church where, like, they would dim the lights, they would get the music going, the cymbals and the piano. It'd be like real, like, methodical, and people just start closing their eyes and start speaking, and and you just see people doing the whole trance type crap. And I'm like, what the hell is going on around here, man? Even as a kid, I knew that was garbage, man. And then for some reason it started to stink more because I guess everyone was kind of talking, so it's the morning, and people don't really brush their teeth. And anyway, that's speaking in tongues. All right, and the last point that I have is a big one. Is that a man can judge. If a man is righteous, then he can judge you, right? There's this whole idea, the whole Tupac philosophy that no man can judge me, only God can judge me. No, Tupac, I can judge you. You were a wicked man. You looked gay. I'm sorry, Tupac looked gay. All right. In all of his pictures, he looks like a faggot. He's got the nose ring. He's like, got the baby doll eyes. He was more of an actor than a rapper anyway, so he really just pulled the wool over all y'all eyes. And I really just found that out like within the past really 2 years. I've never really been a Tupac fan and listened to his music, but he actually made a lot of movies. I'm like this like he made what, Juice? He was a kid. Like he was a actor before a rapper, and like what? So he's always been a witchcrafter, right? He's always been, here's the ball, you see it, but it's over here. How'd that happen? So, but anyway, the main point is that I can judge you, right? If you are a law-abiding citizen according to the Bible, if you're doing the laws of the Bible, the commandments of the Bible, and you're being righteous, and the only way to be righteous is to do the commandments of the Bible. There is no such thing as I'm just a good person. No, what's good is doing the commandments, man. You can't be good if you're eating pork chops, okay? You can't be good if you're celebrating your birthday still. You're still talking about what I'm gonna do on my birthday, if you still smoke weed, if you're still out here just having sex with girls or boys, and not being dedicated to each other. You're wicked, and the Lord oversees all your good qualities, your good heart. It's not about having a good heart. It's about doing these commandments, man. And if you do the commandments, you can judge, because that's what the Bible is all about, man. We are prophets, and a prophet is just someone who foretells what the Bible is talking about. And in order to understand what the Bible is talking about, you have to know the commandments. So, in essence, you're a judge, because you're judging someone based off of a law, right? Makes sense. And you're a prophet. You're telling about the forecomings of the future, right? So, with that being said, in conclusion, the purpose of this video is to highlight the main points, or a lot of points, I should say. There's plethora of them. But points of why God has created this coronavirus is here to destroy people. It's sent by God. Make no mistake about it. This world we live in is wicked. It's full of lewdness, witchcraft, wickedness. No commitment to anything, and he's going to destroy it, man. And you don't want to be caught up in it, because he's going to destroy you too. And that's whether you're black, white, whatever, man. The only thing that's going to save you are these commandments. And these commandments are given to the Israelites, the so-called black man, Hispanic man, alright? And once you understand that, and you humble yourself down, and you do these commandments, then the Lord will spare you in these times. And that's what's going on. So with that being said, I say shalom. Thank you for this video. I will put the link into the video about my other videos I said earlier about the telling of time and about the end of the world, or the tribulations. I plan on making more videos as this whole coronavirus continues. It will definitely be here for the next months to come, so stay tuned, and shalom.